This book was written almost 400 years ago, and yet the lessons are perfect for today in 2025. What's up, everybody? Travis here, and I'm back with my newest book review. Today we're going to be looking at Baltasar Gracian's The Art of Worldly Wisdom, published in 1647. Before I get started with the book review, I'd encourage everybody to like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment on the video, share your thoughts and your feedback with me. And if you're so inclined, I would encourage all of you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It motivates me to keep making these book reviews for you all. So getting into it, The Art of Worldly Wisdom by Baltasar Gracian. This book was published in 1647. And as soon as it was published in Europe, it spread throughout the continent, and everybody lauded and praised this book because it really helped them with their everyday lives. During the time of its publication, two other famous philosophers, Arthur Schopenhauer, who is a German philosopher, I'm reading his book right now, The Wisdom of Life. That's going to be a future book review. And also another German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche. They both praised Baltasar Gracian and how this book was just jam-packed with really valuable information and insight that could really help people lead better lives. Another interesting tidbit about this book is that as I was reading it, it really seems to have been the inspiration behind Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Robert Greene is one of, if not my most favorite author of all time. The first book that I read seriously after I graduated college was The Laws of Human Nature. And it was an unbelievable book, just talking you through life lessons, what to pay attention to as you live life with yourself and also with the people around you. And Robert Greene's first book that really catapulted him onto the public stage was The 48 Laws of Power. And that book is a very polarizing book because it talks about power dynamics, and one of the first reactions that people get is, oh, you're just teaching people how to be evil, right? I disagree with that statement. I think that everybody, especially if you're trying to be a good person in this world, you can't be naive. You can't be gullible. You have to understand power, how power is taken, how it's given, how it's obtained, power dynamics, political life, all types of politics, because it's being played. These are the power games that are being played and the dynamics of life that really aren't talked about. And so if you really want to be a good person in life, you shouldn't be naive and you shouldn't be gullible. You should educate yourself about both good and evil so that you can counteract evil whenever you encounter it, and you can be a good person in every sense of the word. That's why I like Robert Greene, and that's why I like these sorts of books, because a lot of the maxims that were taken into account for the 48 Laws of Power, you can tell were pulled pretty directly from Baltasar Gracian's work. And Gracian was also quoted in the 48 Laws of Power, and I'm acting like that was the only author that Robert Greene consulted with, but Robert Greene consulted all sorts of different authors and different stories and different historical accounts when he wrote the 48 Laws and also the Laws of Human Nature. My favorite book, real quick, from Robert Greene, I highly recommend it, Mastery. Such an incredible book about all the masters throughout history and how you can become one if you aspire to be a master. So getting back into it, The Art of Worldly Wisdom. There are so many maxims, 300 maxims in this book. What's a maxim? I have some notes here because I don't have the definitions ready to go. So in wisdom, there are proverbs and there are maxims. Proverbs are often anonymous, but they offer practical and general advice or wisdom. A maxim, tons of maxims in this book that I'm going to talk about today. Maxims can be philosophical, legal, general, sounding more authoritative or principle-based. They state a fundamental rule of conduct or principle. And right now I'm on my Kindle. I'm going to pull up some maxims that Baltasar Gracian wrote in his book. So I'm reading off of my Kindle. These are some maxims that he wrote, and he also provided some paragraphs later on in the book to explain all of these maxims. But I'll just read them. They catch your attention. Keep matters for a time in suspense. Cultivate those who can teach you. Act sometimes on second thoughts, sometimes on first impulse. Arouse no exaggerated expectations on entering. Keep the imagination under control. Know how to take a hint. Know your strongest point. have the reputation of being gracious. These are some maxims, just a handful, but they give you a little window into this book. They're rules or just things you can consider for a code of conduct that you can model in your own life. And it's just jam-packed with wisdom. And these lessons and these maxims were written again in 1647, more than 300 years ago. And even though we have cars, vehicles, planes, technology, computers, smartphones, AI, ChatGPT, even with all of this technology that was introduced after this book was written, these lessons ring true 100% today. Nothing has changed really. So much has changed, but nothing has changed. And nothing has changed because human nature hasn't changed. And this book really talks about human nature. So without further ado, I'm going to go into 5 of my most favorite quotes from this book. And I also want to plug my Instagram account, Travis D'Souza Quotes, which is where I post all of my favorite quotes from the books that I read. So you can definitely go there. I also have a Twitter or X account at Travis D'Souza. You can follow those too if you want daily wisdom quotes and quotes that'll help you level up your life for sure. For sure. So my first quote: fortune favors the bold. Some content themselves with placing themselves confidently at the gate of fortune, waiting till she opens it. Others do better and press forward and profit by their clever boldness, reaching the goddess and winning her favor on the wings of their virtue and valor. The maxim wasn't called Fortune Favors the Bold, but that's just the title of the quote that I gave to it on Instagram. This is the maxim mentioned earlier. Know your strongest point, your preeminent gift. Cultivate that and you will assist the rest. Everyone would have excelled in something if he had known his strongest point. Notice in what quality you surpass and take charge of that. Third quote: learn who you are, know yourself in talents and capacity, in judgment and inclination. You cannot master yourself unless you know yourself. There are mirrors for the face, but none for the mind. Let careful thought about yourself serve as a substitute. Another reason why I love this book: there are mirrors for the face, but none for the mind. These words are almost like a puzzle piece, and you have to continue to read it and reread it to understand the puzzle and understand how these words fit together. 2 more. Moderate your brilliance. Be extraordinary in your excellence, if you like, but be ordinary in your display of it. The more light a torch gives, the more it burns away, and the nearer 'tis to going out. Show yourself less, and you will be rewarded by being esteemed more. Very similar to 2 of Robert Greene's laws in the 48 Laws of Power. Never outshine the master. Use absence to build respect. Immediately thought of Robert Greene when I read that quote. Last one. Make use of your enemies. You should learn to seize things not by the blade, which cuts, but by the handle, which saves you from harm. Especially is this the rule with the doings of your enemies. A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. Another similar rule to Robert Greene, the 48 Laws of Power: make use of your enemies. Don't rely on your friends. Sometimes you need to use your enemies if you want to advance. And again, these maxims help you not be naive and gullible. If you want to be a good person, you have to know how the world works. And this lifts back the curtain and shows you how human nature truly is. And that'll allow you to be a really good person. Overall score for this book, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. In terms of the gap between a 9 and a 10, some of the maxims the explanations weren't as fleshed out as I would have hoped for them to be, but at the same time, 9 is an incredible score, and this is an incredible book that was written almost 400 years ago, but still is very applicable to today. The language, the verbiage that Gracian used, just wonderful, just extravagant. It's like a puzzle piece. You have to reread it over and over again. If you read this book, I recommend you read it piecemeal. Don't read everything at once, because then the maxims won't stick with you in your mind. Just take your time with this one and you'll really enjoy it. Thanks so much everybody for watching. Until next time, like, comment, and subscribe. Take care. All the best. Bye.